from my coming series for television about social engineering. Chapter 3. The Opera. He said to me as we watched the opera below from his private balcony. In this day, many have come to ask of what many have before thought was too irrelevant of asking, where are we this day within time? How far have we come? Have we evolved within the gifted time we have been given as a human family? Have we evolved or have we declined? Have we stood still within a state of death and for many centuries have not known that we are in fact a dead society? Where are we within the living journey, or have we in fact already died? It is vital to be honest, to be clear. In observing the state of morality we are within currently, despite our asserted distinctions, we exist within the same realm. This is an apparent evidence of each one of us having a fundamental moral oneness, in which we agree upon unspoken that causes each and every one of us to be able to exist inside inclusively. Our claimed differences through the times are only revealed to be in solidarity. This is what creates a nation, a culture which provides a people whom in truth are simply a dual populace. We are existing within the same circumstances while claiming to be of an individual state of being, when the human family has been enslaved and thus enforced to exist within a state of bondage that is known as being indivisible. This has forever been the condition denied by the system, however has been the evidence in existence denied. The ambience which we are inside upon every level of the mind is a state of being that has been established through centuries of tyranny not only upon the flesh, but the effects of such has become upon the psychic, which is in effect ruled of fear being its fundamental. This day, many have inside a fear that has been established through the centuries which those before them suffered through a designated amount of time physically, for in this day to be imbued within the common intellectual as functional without a needed threat of physical force. This day in effect of where the organism is in no need to be abused with forced cooperation, with an iron fist of tyranny for the modern human being to assert to know of what has been the norm inside of this social environment, was before established by the blood and suffering of their appointed neighbors of whom they have never seen, because time has erased their suffering, their misery. This is what is the unfortunate truth of what one sees this day, one of which has never been taught because of the wise whom occupy the systems of rulership. One primary tool for most government systems is to keep those in the present blind of the cruelty, the immoralities of the past, that those who are present may never know the monstrosities done of those before them, that revolution may never come through the offspring of a once before humble, and then humbled people. It is taught instinctively and institutionally that one man gave his life for the betterment and thus preservation of humanity. But what most this day have been blindfold of is the fact that many have been eliminated for the sake of a very wicked government system, which all have been manipulated into being labeled as an occupant of in terms of their so-called chosen nationality, as this title and therefore brand of the human being has forever caused one to further be forced into the abyss of never knowing themselves truly. They must never know who they are and who produced them. They must never understand why, never know why, and must never be made known of all these evils committed, for that what is in fact inside of them this day, will never become awakened. For if this is so, we, who have ruled over them in our efforts in keeping them ignorant of their dysfunctional environment, we will be revealed as the weak and unworthy of God. As Rome produced and established the games of which we play, the human brutality of which we enjoy, the only thing which we each day come to know of ourselves is in fact nothing in truth. Nothing of our true selves, as we have only been programmed and conditioned of falling away from that which we know not of our own self. Those before us, rather titled ancestors, or simple human beings, were made unable to know of what they were and who they were, still in fact existed. And if matters for us are still difficult and remain under the tyranny of a corrupted government system, in our current dissatisfaction, they live among us inside. They say to each and one of us, despite the design theology of racism which causes divisiveness, "Come out of her, my people. No longer be blind participators in their sins and their plagues. Their histories that have been chosen by them will teach us nothing. He suddenly looked over and into my eyes. I have given you a choice of propulsion. It will reveal to you of your purpose. It is your choice to act upon what you have for years claimed to be within, or take your place with the dead, which governs and advocate the moral decaying of this world. Written by David Anthony Brayboy.
It was him. He said to me, "You were given life, but your living has belonged to only someone else before your appointed time, as you are coming to know. Your thoughts and feelings have been manufactured. Before you was the same of those who born you and raised you to be what we have made of them. We set before you an educational system which provokes your gift of desire to be one more than yourself, before we allowed you to know and understand what you are and your reasons for being present in this world. A world that we have destroyed and recreated for us, as we have been perspicacious in our aims to have the rest of you for a time, to produce, to maintain, to destroy, and yet after many times progressing, to reproduce." I asked him of what this means. He responded, "No meaning to this. It is within the journey that you find your individual answers, as you have forever been invoked to find yourself in a society designed for you to lose yourself further, for the purpose of the journey of finding yourself in totality. All of which has been placed before you, even before your own realization from a child, a world system established for you which you will give you no independent choice to choose your own path, because your path has forever been chosen before you choose it. You are the governed and have forever been as was insidiously arranged. The environment is designed in a manner of function that one will in time understand the flaws of such a state, for the sake of being intellectually conditioned to wonder and think of how to resolve it, because of your compassion, your cultivated insecurities rooted in fear, being made your fears. As this is why you had become an officer of the law. A law in which is subtly created to both end the common disorders, as well as to maintain them for the purpose of remaining for a purpose. You were asked, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? A designed question with answers already designed for you to choose. Only to see of where your natural interest could possibly feel a place of contentment in your compassion of feeling as if you could be an advocate to fix a broken world. A broken world created to be broken to serve the ambitions and objectives for further generations. Your historical accounts lead you to where you are this day, as your history was not even of your own creation. It has never been just your journey individually. This very moment, through your absorbed interest, you were designed to be present. I just provided a path for you to walk and to ponder upon as you learn as you go each day in curiosity of why are you present in something thought to be a part of your being. However, there's no peace of mind. The journey was created as an imperfect predicament. Something designed which has been left for the objective of fanning your innermost curiosities. You're standing here speaking with me because I manufactured the interest for you to be present. The same as it was the night of the opera when we met firstly. A man who you are felt to know, but have not given you his name. A man in whom you only know as him. When you look at me, you see a man of many nations and therefore an undetermined man and thus, a man of no nation. Objectively non-objective. Describable indescribable. Him, the man who does good, and the man who does evil, and also permits evil to exist, as all of what creates a purpose for you as an officer of a law which people as I created for you to protect, and as we also break those that we created, for others to not dare oppose. We stood there on a Chicago residential building overlooking the city's night skyline. Him glaring over at me from time to time, with his eerie, coconut and hazel-colored eyes. Thomas McDermott, you will be successful. I will see to it that you will as you will in your ambitions and will to assist. I respect you as I also can destroy you in many forms because of knowing your flaws as well as creating others as you are forced to lose what control you think you have. This in hearing, will intensify your ambitions and your efforts to resist what you are not able to accurately determine is in function. I am giving you fair warning not to challenge yourself if you find yourself in doubt, but to utilize that sense of doubt as an incentive to venture forwards because there's experience and therefore information present which will provide you the clarity needed to resolve your curiosities, even if the conclusions oppose your moral stance. You will learn of how to accept what you are not able to change, without a guilty complex that has previously ruled your mind and actions. It will be your demise upon every level if you succumb to your doubt, because you will be rejecting that which you are going to need for your advancement beyond your current position in the force. Even now, your ambitions supersede your current state of intelligence. Be wise to understand the virtue of being still until a better time presented, Thomas. This will be the education that you need for you to accomplish your unconscious goals, which you have not yet realized you are capable to reaching, even though, there will be a time of when you will have to sacrifice that which you desire the most for your rise. And you will be left with no choice because your mentality will have been cultivated that those sacrifices will be made in a less troublesome consequence. Your current state of morality will hold a dual challenge which both will present themselves to be of your gaining considered of you good, or bad, but, there will be only one out of many that will bring you peace. There are many living who have been made to think and to believe that what they are doing in fact, is why they have been placed upon this earth to perform. But, it is quite the contrary. It is why despite the designed and propagated status of success, there lie no authentic state of peace of mind because it was never allowed to be realized. It was intercepted by them thousands of years ago. The money designed to be the reward for your efforts, was not produced for to grant anyone peace nor freedom, as why most become arrogant and boastful. All of which is contrary of their given faith. It is why there are those whom are regarded as wealthy, are indeed the poor in mind, heart and spirit. I asked him, are you wealthy? I possess unlimited access to wealth. I have no bank accounts to trace, no address to determine and no identity, but I live freely outside of the system that holds you captive with your cooperation nor consent, as you have been programmed to be a willing participant of slavery inside of an asserted free system, which gives you rights to be a free slave. I live outside of such a system, but am able to extract its wealth at my expense. I am in your world, but not of your world. I am a creation of the system, but not within its unbending grasp. I am present before you, but not existing to anyone. I live, but to you and the sheep, I am not dead, but never born. No answers that I give you for your curiosity can be of any benefit to you after you leave this moment. You would only be accused of insanity, a man speaking of a ghost-like presence without a presence in the system, which will produce a man who is losing his capabilities of being able to perform a job which others and I created for you. What our friend Darrell tried to accomplish before his self-destruction, was an honorable effort towards humanity telling you of me, but, his passion was not of his benefit nor was it of your own. He told you of a man that neither one of you can prove even exist. He walked towards me and stopped, looking me in the eyes. The city below you, is your responsibility. All of which is in function, you are responsible for ending, or responsible against your moral standards to keep functioning by knowing that it is more beneficial to you to simply in some circumstances to just, walk away. Walking away takes a lot less effort and strength that most have been made to believe. It takes the death of the ego, the dedication to your high moral standards and the curse of the ambitious mentality which crashes and shatters against any wall that serves as an impediment. But, I will see to it that you become the man that you desire, Thomas McDermott. Matters will develop which you will not be able to control, because they will be cultivated in harmony with your uttermost desires towards all of whom you love and hate. In all of this, you will then choose who you are, Thomas, not I who have paved your way. But, who you choose to become and to then, be as you have forever been. He turned and walked away. His long black coat flapping gracefully in the Chicago night wind. I often wonder if any of us are who we think we are. Are we in truth what we have chosen to become? Are our choices our own? Or, have our choices been established before us and our passions, as he said, been designed for us to be invoked to choose what was established before us as tools to either help the world become a better place, or keep our society as it is and therefore help in our own moral decay? I would see him again, but, just not in person. Only in the effects of my environment in helping leading me to become a man of which my own parents would have never thought was the way in which to go for the sake of accomplishing something thought for centuries to be honorable. Written by David Anthony Brayboy. It was him again. This time, we were standing upon the shore of Lake Michigan as the sun was almost down. As I approached him, he just began to talk. What is right and wrong is for a reasoning, and therefore for whatever reasoning he creates, establishes within the environment, permits right or wrong, is for the right reasons according to him and his agenda, which in truth benefits others. Rather, they understand their preconditioned opportunities for elevation was because of their drives and efforts, or was through time encouraged through an unseen force whom knows their wants, their desires and their hopes of conquering the same institution. They claim to love through their undying loyalty, which in fact dies the moment they were programmed to have ambitions outside of the current agenda of the institution. This has been the way since what has been taught is the beginning of time, as mankind has been trusted to know. The majority who have either lost hope in society or encourage it, are every day hoping that matters of their lives will become more pleasing through the same government system which causes them their grief, while it capitalizes off of such everyday, subtle trauma, even without them knowing precisely of what pleases their minds and soul. With this, comes both its gains and loses, which both activating in tandem in opposition of one's inherited freedom to choose. Their destiny has been chosen for them, as this invoke a laziness, because who wants to really put forth the responsibility of realizing their purpose upon the earth, after coming to know that someone else whom they look up to and towards for the maintaining of their miserable lot has deemed themselves responsible for producing it for them. It is the agenda of controlling the governed from what freedom they have never been told they possess, as they have forever felt it inside, but they cannot realize it because we do not supply them with the information through education, nor the insight for them to be led to that state of mentality. This is for what many have come to know as the revolutionary. I created them as well. Your saviors are cultivated through the effects of the society as it was designed. Even through the observation of human behavior and what is perceived as subhuman behavior. This is what has been allowed you to know and to understand from an insight of which we implanted inside of you, that will in time come through a forthcoming preconception, to perceive through your time of developing intellectual maturity. The multitude of saviors who are allowed to understand the cause and effects of the environment, are allowed to perceive what they have come to know, because the information was allowed to be made accessible, as well as the understanding and the insight which the information produces in harmony with one's own gift of insight. All of which creates the revolutionary. As well as those who will in time be revealed as those who have been wallowing of their minds and feelings for not having the right information or courage to move forwards and to become the brave and radical savior themselves, who understand the root of the condition seemingly of what has them feeling limited and unable to completely express themselves honestly, even though many have no idea of how to express themselves commonly, because we never allowed them to know themselves precisely enough to do so. The power of information for the achiever and the power of the lack of information for those who are destined to fail firstly, and then become content in their failing, as this state is passed down for 3 generations because of the intellectual status of the family and environment, diminishes with time. This is the rebellion of Lucifer against God within the heavenly plane, and as this is currently ruling this planet, as many have come to know that they are being ruled and are to limit it of cultivating the will to break free, When the revolutionary manifests, they are relieved with a long and forthcoming exhale. Because now, they are not responsible anymore for what they wished they could do to better the conditions, but now, the one who is obviously deemed through the effects of the environment to perform such speeches, yell such offenses and such fear in the people and in hope the government, has arrived to place their lives on the line, because in truth, they really didn't want to, because they love their current miseries, even though he or she every day and night complains and has regrets of the choices of the past, and yet if you were to ask them of their past choices, they would say, I wouldn't change a thing. Not having the will to change anything, if given the opportunity, reveals the liar of his or her hatred of their current condition. The lacking of will to elevate is the love of the sloth. You have been kept children in adult organisms as is designed. The system has become the breast of your mother. Because it always has been, as you, despite your age, continue to suckle upon her breast for to exist. The conceptual implication was to never let you go or be able to be pulled from her breast. No, never upon your own, and to always cause you to think and feel through a surge of justified aggression, that are free and in control for what destiny was designed for your living experience, never realizing that you never had a part in your choosing because your choice was chosen before you choose it. In all of this, sociology of everything I have shared with you, is precisely not the case. It's not the case in all of this. It is the surface of what you have forever known, but not the true agenda. It is why I left after seeing what the monster will in time, and therefore is doing now, perform. The agenda has forever been opposite of what has been allowed to be perceived, and that is where the government get the advantage. I asked him how did he get out. He answered, I helped people as yourself get to where they want to go. I don't understand, I told him. Thomas, there are many as yourself who are addicted to this design. You have cultivated through traditions of family influence, honor and your strong state of a willingness to maintain your integrity despite of how at times, you stumble and doubt yourself, you maintain the pace that supersedes the established pace for your life. I have seen this of you. I have seen this of you for many years during the design of your evolution. It is men as yourself who are a willing slave to a system of corruption, but will also die trying to produce a better one morally. But, you will not be able to be successful unless you compromise some of the primary moral fundamentals which you possess, that you will in time come to know prevents you from reaching your goal. Some fundamentals are but stumbling blocks. He stared at me with those hazel and almost golden and eerie-looking colored eyes, and I knew that something was coming. I felt that he was behind it, of course, but not openly. Written by David Anthony Brayboy.